Good morning, everybody. First of all, wanted to talk a little bit about a film that I watched last night, a very, very good film based on true story, well worth checking out. I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of you haven't already seen it, but if not, then well worth checking out. Rather mischievously, a wee while back, I posed the question, if you were in need of a defense lawyer and you could choose anybody, who would you choose? Good morning, Millbilly. Oh, that reminds me, apologies. Yesterday, I said that Tottenham Hotspur had won 5-1. I got it wrong. I apologize. Somebody corrected me and said, by the way, it was 6-1 that Tottenham had won. So well done to Tottenham. I do recall, I think it was Harry Kane with the penalty towards the end. 6-1. Obviously, still over the moon about Aston Villa. And last night, 16 points to 30 to the Packers. So they are now, they have now run 4 games on the trot. And it's the first time in the history of American football that any team in the first 4 games has scored over 150 points in 4 games and has yet to concede a turnover. So they are doing particularly well in keeping hold of the ball. So well done to Green Bay Packers. Yeah, let's just quickly say hello. Hi, Carl. Hi, Jerome. Hi, Darkside. Deborah. Oh, Dr. Silkman as well. Hi there. Hi there. So anyway, just to briefly, just before we get on to this article by Andy Thompson, as I say, rather mischievously, I asked if you could choose any lawyer in the world to defend you if you needed them, who would you choose? And of course, unsurprisingly, Kathleen Zellner took the first prize. Travis Williamson's answer was somebody I hadn't heard of before, called Dennis Reardon. Now, with the name Reardon, I'm reminded, of course, of the multi-world snooker champion Ray Reardon, who was also a mentor to Ronnie O'Sullivan for a long time and really transformed Ronnie O'Sullivan. Anyway, I found some footage of Dennis O'Riordan, and it was a very, very interesting debate. It was to do with EDPA and the creation of the EDPA because of Timothy McVeigh. But the question was, should Timothy McVeigh have been executed? And Brian Stevenson was one of the guys on the panel who is very much against the death penalty. So the film I watched last night, as soon as it came up on the suggested list of things to watch on Sky, I immediately dashed through to Eunice and said, look, we must, because I was watching sport, of course, at the time, we must watch this film. It's going to be great. It's about this lawyer called Brian Stevenson. If you've watched it already, but what is it? Let me just pop up. I've got a photo ready. The film is Just Mercy. This is Michael B. Jordan is playing the part of Brian Stevenson. Jamie Foxx is playing the part of Johnny D, who and eventually everything works out really well. I must say I did thoroughly enjoy the part played by one of the brothers in Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? The one that believes that Jesus from the Big Lebowski had really turned into a frog. He's absolutely brilliant in it. Anyway, Just Mercy, really, really good film. It's been out obviously since the beginning of the year, but you'll be amazed at the at the similarities, particularly when you see the corruption in that. It's set in Alabama. The corruption of the particularly the sheriff's department there. It's quite shocking, the program, the film. There are the usual sort of gains being made and then knockbacks because of corruption. As I say, it's very, very recent. As Eunice said at one point, when one of the things that had happened one court hearing, she said, "Look, blimey, that's within days of us getting married." Anyway, yes, that's it. That's him, John Turturro. That's right. The Jesus from The Big Lebowski. So who's the other guy besides them and George Clooney in Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? What's the wee fella's name? I bet Jerome will find that for me pretty quick as well. Okie dokie. So yes, do check out, if you get a chance to check out anything by Dennis Reardon, always worth a look at. But as I say, I particularly like Brian Stevenson. I particularly like his take on the legal system, and what things should happen. There's a great TED talk that he gives, which is, I might even pop the link, along with. Oh, you don't remember? Hold on a sec. Where art thou? Cast. Tim Blake Nelson. Absolutely brilliant. Tim Blake Nelson is in it, and as I say, absolutely brilliant. He plays the part of a guy called Myers, who basically came up with this, was coerced into saying that he had helped Johnny D to murder this young girl in a shop. Anyway, I'm not going to say any more about it because I don't want to spoil it for you guys. Check out, as I say, it's called, let's do that once more, Just Mercy. It says here, based on a true story. Yeah, there's also the book. The book is by Brian Stevenson. His real name is Walter Macmillan, but he's known as Johnny D. And there's Brian Stevenson. Well, obviously the actors. And this is a scene right at the end where they're getting to sort of tell their story. Everywhere, January the 10th. Okay, let's get back to what I've got lined up for you. And I do apologise for the thumbnail. Any sight of Andy Colburn is quite horrific at the best of times. But anyway, let's carry on with the with this article. I'll just make sure that everything is working fine as I usually do. The other good news is that on Thursday, I'm going to take my laptop in and I'm going to get some upgrades done. So apparently a much better hard drive, a solid state hard drive, and a much bigger memory, which will allow me a lot more space, as it were. And hopefully when it comes to playing certain things and showing certain things, I won't have quite the problems that I was. So I'll submit through the door. Yes, hopefully it'll work a lot smoother. So let's do that and do that and do that. I say it's particularly vile face, isn't it? Having to look at Andy Colburn, but. 21 hours ago, Andy Thompson of the Appleton Post Crescent, release of docu-series billed as alternative to Making a Murderer, delayed until 2021. Let's read through, and then I'll certainly give you my thoughts on this. Straight up, I think he's missed the boat. I think he should have done this. You know, from Kratz's point of view, Sean Reck should have done this film 3 or 4 years ago. It should have been out the first year that Making a Murderer came out. If he'd have wanted any impact, I'm not sure if there's going to be. Anyway, let's have a look. Convicting a Murderer, which has been billed as a more even-handed version of the Stephen Avery case than Making a Murderer, has been pushed back to 2021. You know, I do take exception to this as a more even-handed version. You know, you can't get more even-handed than Kathleen Zellner gets the leading experts to prove Steve's innocence. Anyway, Sean Reck, documentary filmmaker and the director and executive producer of the project, and incidentally, I must say thank you to Sean for donating to the Dudes Fund. He was one of the ones that donated. Told USA Today Network Wisconsin that a release date has yet to be set for the 10-episode docu-series. We're just doing a real thorough job, Reck said. You know, as I say, even with Making a Murderer, you find that by the time it's released, we've moved on. Some of us have got, you know, these sort of front row seats, as it were, to finding out everything that's going on in the case. You know, being charitable, I would say probably in order to wait until there's been some court decision over an evidentiary hearing. Anyway, we're just doing a real thorough job, Sean said. Avery, Steve, is now 57, serving life in prison after being found guilty of murdering Teresa Holbach, who went missing after visiting the Avery Salvage Yard in Manitowoc County in 2005 for a photo assignment. Steve's nephew, Brendan, who's now 30, is also serving life in prison in connection with Teresa's death. Steve is being held at the state prison in Waupun, while Brendan is at the Oshkosh Correctional Institution. Originally, Convicting a Murderer was scheduled to hit the airwaves in 2019, but it was pushed back to 2020 to allow for editing and final touches. The series is being produced via Transition Studios of Cleveland, Ohio, and certainly when we were at the rally last year, the film crew that was there was definitely the one. I asked them, where are you from? And they said, yeah, we're from Ohio. So the documentary was filmed largely in Appleton during the past 2 years, Reck said. Well, of course, we know who's in Appleton. A certain sweaty Bryce. Oh, too far. The program, which is now known as simply Convicting, has pledged to take a broader look at the Holbach killing than Making a Murderer. It will place more of an emphasis on the perspective of law enforcement, according to Sean Reck. The case gained national attention after being featured in the Netflix docuseries Making a Murderer. In the documentary series, Making a Murderer was released in December 2015, and it was followed a few years later with Making a Murderer 2. The series cast doubt on the motives of police investigating Teresa's death and left many viewers with the impression that Steve and Brendan were wrongfully convicted. Steve has an appeal pending in Wisconsin's appellate court system. Obviously, Steve and Laura, for Brendan, continue to seek a favorable clemency ruling from Governor Tony Evers, despite Evers' earlier decision that he wouldn't grant early release to Dassey because the case didn't meet the state's guidelines. We'll let the audience decide, Rec said. This process is just taking a little longer than we thought. It's alive and well, and we're working on it. It's going to be next year before it airs. One reason for the delay, he said, is that film festivals are all virtual now. The industry, as far as acquisitions, is slow right now, Rec said, because of course that's one of the problems, isn't it? They've got to get somebody, they can make the film, but then it's getting the likes of Netflix to air it. I don't know that they would take it on. Who knows? Rec said previously that the release date for the series will be up to the licensee or the distributor. He has said he's confident that a buyer will come forward. I mean, as I say, from my point of view, I think that, Ken Kratz is hoping, or what was hoping, when Making a Murderer first came out, that something that put a slant on it from the law enforcement point of view. I mean, for 6 months I was getting all the excuses under the sun from Robert Herman. I can imagine him being in it. And I think from clips that I've seen, it's all about the fact that, Lenk and Colburn, it's terrible how these accusations, how could you possibly accuse these good upstanding cops for doing anything wrong? What motive would they have? 36 million and potentially being dragged into lawsuit. It's, for me, if it was going to do any good from Kratz's point of view, Convicting a Murderer should have been out a long time ago, before Kathleen Zellner even developed the testing that she's done so far. If Sean Rec gets an interview with Tom Fallon and Norm Garn, and they can present some sort of plausible reason why the remains are handed back, good luck to you. Good luck to you, Sean Rec. But I don't see that. I can't see that happening. All I can see is obstruction. Very similar to the obstruction that you'll see in the film Just Mercy. Anyway, hi there, Kitra, Alice, and Kelly. Hi. I'm gonna leave it there. Just a little short one, just to let everybody see that there is news on this Convicting a Murderer. And I think I saw Millbilly pointed out that we're expecting movement in the lawsuit that Andy Colburn had taken against Netflix via Michael Griesbach. So that would be interesting to see. Anyway, we'll catch you soon. If I've got time, I might just do another one straight away. I've got the next part of the corruption of Fallon and Garn to go through. So anyway, catch you very shortly. Bye for now.